Year 10s, welcome back to our new lesson. Today we're going to have a look at factorization by grouping. So before we move on to the actual topic, we're going to have a quick recap, a quick review of what you've done in year 9. So first example, say you want to factorize 10x plus 15y. So the best way to do this, if you struggle a bit, is to write the 10x in expanded form, which will be 5 times 2 times x, and the 15y as 5 times 3 times y. And then as you can see, both have 5 in common, so that's the common factor that goes outside, and the leftovers, that is 2x and the 3y, will go inside the bracket. So the final answer will be 5 bracket 2x plus 3y. Now if you want to check if you're right or wrong, you just have to expand the bracket. So 5 times 2x will give you 10x, and then 5 times 3y will give you 15y, which is correct. Now next example, we want to factorize 9x squared plus 15x take 12xy. So again, we write each of these individual terms in expanded form. So 9x squared can be written as 3 times x times x. 15x as 3 times 5 times x. And last 12xy can be written as 3 times 4 times x times y. Now we've highlighted the common factors in the same color. So the 3 that's a common factor is in yellow. And then the x also is a common factor, which is in green. So all the common factors go outside the bracket. So we've got 3x in all the 3 terms, they go outside, and what goes inside the bracket are the leftovers. So 3x in the first term, just the 5 in the second one, and 4y in the last one. So that's your factorized answer. Again, if you want to check you're right or wrong, you can expand. 3x times 3x give you 9x squared. 3x times 5 is 15x. And last, 3x times negative 4y is negative 12xy. Now we move on to the next part of the topic, which is the actual factorization by grouping. But this is where normally you reach when you're doing a question. That will be like your last step. So we get familiar with the last step, and then we'll do like actual questions on factorization by grouping. So have a look at this question. What can we see is the bracket. So this bracket and that bracket, they're the same. So whenever you do a question on factorization by grouping, the bracket needs to be same. If they're not same, means you've done some mistake somewhere, and you go back and fix them. So as you can see, a plus b is a common factor. We write it outside, and then what's left is p plus q that goes in the second bracket, and that's the answer. Example 2, again, as you can see, there's x plus 3, then x plus 3 again. That's a common factor which we write once. And then the leftovers, which is xy take 5, that goes in the second bracket. And example 3 is the same thing. 2a take 3, 2a take 3. So remember, the two brackets need always to be same. So if they're not same, means there's a problem. And the leftovers is b. And remember, when you don't see anything, that's a 1. So there's a negative 1 here, hiding behind the bush. So 2a take 3 is a common factor, and the leftovers b take 1 is the next bracket. Now we move on to the actual questions where you have to start from scratch. So again, we're going to do 3 examples, and then you should be ready to tackle a question from your textbook. Alright, first example, ax plus by, bx plus ay plus by. So there's a lot of letters. Now why do we do factorization by grouping? Because there's no common factors in the 4 terms that you see. So it's impossible to see what's common in 4 different terms: ax bx, ay, by, c. Basically they have nothing that's common in all the four terms. So what we do, we group them. That's why we call it grouping. So we group 2 by 2, the first two in a bracket, then we put the next two in another bracket. Then what we do, we factorize each bracket separately. So if we factorize ax plus bx, as we can see, the letter x is a common factor and the leftovers will be a plus b. And in the next bracket, ay plus by, y is a common factor, the leftovers are a and b, and as we can see the two brackets are similar. That means we're on the right track. So we write a plus b once and the leftovers, which is x plus y, in the next bracket, and then we're done. Let's have a look at example 2. 2x squared plus 3x plus 10x plus 15. So we bracket them again, the first two and the next two. Now if you look at the first bracket, we have x as a common factor because 2x squared has an x, in fact has two x's, and 3x has an x, so they both have x in common. So take x outside, so and then we say x times what will give me 2x squared, and therefore that should be 2x, and x times what give me 3x, so that should be just 3. And going back to the next bracket, 10x plus 15, as we can see they're both divisible by 5, so 5 is a common factor, and then 5 times what will give me 10x, so that should be 2x, and 5 times what will give me 15 is 3. Again, as you can see, both the brackets are the same. That means we're in the right track again, and the leftovers are x and 5 that goes in the next bracket. Last example, it's a bit spicier because we've got more steps to do. So we got 6a squared, take 15a, take 4a plus 10. So I'll make sure you never have a minus in the middle. But if you don't have any choice, then what happens when you put the bracket, the sign that comes after the minus will change, because minus minus will give you that plus. So we'll start again by bracketing. So first to 6a squared, take 15a, and then because we got a minus here, this sign that comes next, the plus, is going to change to a minus. As minus minus, you want to expand the brackets, we'll get back to plus 10. Now we factorize each bracket individually. 6a squared, take 15a, there is 3 common in the numbers and a in the letters, and 3a times 2a will give you 6a squared, 3a times 5 will give you 15a, and factorizing the second bracket, 4a take 10, so there's a 2 common in both brackets, and 2 times 2a is 4a, and 2 times 5 is 10. So as we can see again, the two brackets are the same, so means again we are going in the right direction. So write one of the brackets once, and the leftovers, that is the 3a and the take 2, goes in the next bracket. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Now what you do is go and try exercise 3.5 question 1. Thank you.